Hi, Adrian here, and this is a very short little bonus episode of China Manufacturing Decoded. A couple of episodes ago, I was talking with Renaud on a different topic, and we started to digress into trading companies, and that part didn't make the cut of the episode, but I did think it was a useful little chat, so here it is as a bonus. And trading companies in China, for example, are a topic that's often misunderstood. They can actually be very useful because they often speak good English, they might have a good website, they can probably give pricing pretty quickly across a wide range of products, all the products that they specialize in, and they provide kind of a good bridge between you and manufacturers, which can really help people, especially businesses who are new to sourcing from China, to save time and actually get results more quickly than doing it themselves. There is another side to the story of trading companies, though. They're not always transparent about who they work with. They kind of consider this to be trade secret, and so they don't want to give out information. That obviously could be problematic if you're trying to make sure that you have a transparent supply chain. And, if you don't know who they're working with, do they switch suppliers without telling you? You might be actually paying more because they take a commission on top of what the manufacturers charge for less control. So we'll talk a little bit about the pros and cons here and give you a bit of insight into trading companies which may or may not make sense for you to use. You're listening to China Manufacturing Decoded from the Sofeast Group. You did mention trading companies, right? So that's one thing we need to be careful of. And if you're listening and you're thinking, hang on a minute, trading companies, what are they? Would you care to just give the warning?
Well, it's not really a warning, is that a lot. Okay, if you go back 25, 30 years, or let's say 30 years, most of the business, the export business from Chinese factories was done through trading companies, usually based out of Hong Kong. Okay. And they were essential, right? I mean, manufacturers would just manufacture, they would just produce. They would usually not have any English speaking staff. And then the trading company would make it possible to have a match with foreign buyers and, show the samples to the foreign buyers, get the dollars or the whatever currency from these buyers and transfer it to the manufacturers in the right currency and so on. Okay. Now, over time, that model has changed quite a bit, with manufacturers more and more hiring English speakers and doing direct export business. It's pretty easy for a manufacturing company in China to go to the Canton Fair or to the various trade shows in various countries, to be on Alibaba, on Global Sources, on all of these websites, and to get some foreign customers. So they've been learning fast, and everything goes faster in China, as as we say. So a lot of the buyers have been driving this. They're like, hey, I don't want to work with the trading company because they add anywhere from, I don't know, 5% to 30% on the price. So if I'm a professional buyer, I will just work with manufacturers directly. I don't want a trading company to be an intermediary in the middle. Now, that sometimes makes no sense. Sometimes trading companies are the cheapest supplier you can find, okay, but that's not often the case, okay? So a lot of buyers have been trying to avoid trading companies. Often trading companies are afraid of the buyers jumping over them to work directly with the manufacturer. So very often they will just say, no, I won't tell you who the manufacturer is. You buy from me and that's it. That is basically impossible on certain markets. Like if you buy medical devices and you want to sell it in the EU or in the US, well, good luck with that. No,
Yep.
there's a certain level of transparency that's required, and it's going to be harder and harder just to sell whatever kind of products in the EU, because they are going to require more and more information. So as the
Yep.
importer, you need to be able to show where it's been produced, right? So anyway, all of that to say, if you go on Alibaba, for example, and you find a supplier and they have good communication, etc., etc., and especially if they sell a very wide range of products, like not just toasters and a few grills, but toasters and all kinds of other kitchen appliance, right? Very wide. Maybe it's a big factory. Maybe they do a lot of product development, or most likely it's a trading company that sort of represents, if you want, and is associated with 5, 10, 20 different factories. Okay, but the problem is very often they portray themselves as manufacturer, and Alibaba is totally complicit in that, right? So as a first-time buyer, it's pretty easy to be fooled and say, "Oh no, yeah, I found this manufacturer over there," you know, and you go and visit them and you say, "Well, hey, this is five guys in a small office in downtown Xiamen, and the factory is several hours away from there in industrial area in Fuzhou." Oh, really? Right? So if they told you they're manufacturer, but they're not manufacturer, basically they lied to you. Is this how you want to start a relationship? Okay.
Yep.
Now, if they are pretty transparent about what they do and the value they bring and everything, why not? But still, you will not have the full bill of material. Usually, you with the prices of the components and the supplier contact, etc., you will not know how much the trading company is adding. Is it really worth it for the value they bring? So long term, it may not make sense, but sometimes for the short term, it makes sense, right? And really, it depends. What is core? What are the products that are core to your business versus what are the products that are very peripheral and you don't really care? When we buy pens for the office, we don't care if we work with, a trading company or there's like 5 layers of intermediaries or whatever. Just want,
Right.
proper pens at the proper price, and that's it. We don't want to know anything about it.
Yep. That makes a lot of sense. We've digressed a bit into trading companies, but I just thought it was worth bringing up just for anybody wondering why we would mention those specifically. Thanks again for listening to this podcast brought to you by the Sofeast Group. We're on a mission to provide you with everything you need to manufacture effectively in Asia, including inspections, auditing, new product development support, contract manufacturing, 3PL warehousing and fulfillment, and much, much more across Asia's key manufacturing areas. Visit us at sofeast.com, that's SOFEAST.com, to learn more and get help. If you've enjoyed the podcast today, please do rate, review, and share, because it will really help others discover us too.